Hey kid, do you want to be a content creator in the Gacha community? I'm gonna take you through the deep trudges of Gacha hell to make you reconsider your decision. Of course, this isn't an overgeneralization of the community. That is not my point in this video. I just wanted for a large community, why hasn't anyone stated the internal impacts this lead to children like a pandemic? This video tries to locate their behaviors and their causes. I just wanted to make a video reporting on the unspoken situation in the Gacha community. I am not going to be addressing the attention-deprived pandemic in kids that results in them resorting to such tactics since it's gonna be very long-winded. In an attempt to represent what fully goes on in Gacha, I'm trying to reduce the large number of kids from getting into this biohazard trap of self-sacrifice. I don't want to let their ambitions flop in front of their face from the dark reality. They're just too young to face that. A reminder to get your attention and validation from somewhere else. Live your life as a child first. That's all I hope for. On the opposite viewpoint, one may say that being in the Gacha fandom is a canon event that happens to all kids, and to an extent, I agree. And perhaps that maybe I should let them experience all these hardships for them to know what failure and success taste like. But to be honest, I don't think sacrificing your livelihood for an online persona just because it's all you know, it's justifiable. For much less literal children, I am going to cover these topics. Researching all of this made me ill for quite a few days. To be honest, it made me genuinely consider just saying kids should just stop being on the internet at all. But I have to be reasonable, so yeah. The internet is really not a safe place no matter how much you try to safe-proof and purify yourself if you're on it all the time. But that one was really tempting to put. I am not gonna enter the Gacha community. I am not that committing to researching, making social experiments and shit. Mostly because of the number of prodigies in there. It inevitably makes me feel jealousy no matter how much I try to positively view it, and I don't feel like crushing my ego today. I got into a Gacha rabbit hole. At first, I was just stupidly curious on why there is a sudden influx of children that are working so hard on little videos that do not matter, and letting themselves get carried into the waves of repetitive trends. And there was a common theme, Gacha. I could see how overly edited it was, how much concern was put into the work, and how much patience had been taken. The blood, sweat, and tears of yet children were pouring out of the screen. How are they letting themselves get sacrificed and rotted away at such a young age, where they barely have any life experience yet? I just couldn't see the benefit. It was quite a bizarre thing to me, one I couldn't fully understand. What motivates these children to work so hard to accomplish so little? How do they convince themselves to think that it is worth it? How do they find the patience to stick true? How are they willing to put so much effort into the video that will disappear? I don't mean to insult, but this curiosity led me to a profound feeling of sadness. I got down into the attention-seeking and approval rabbit holes. At the end of the day, it was just resulted in the loss of their childhood, in the weight of their duty. The children have devoted themselves into being robotic, into being content farms. I'm like, hey, isn't this a little bit dystopian? What is truly going on? It is very depressing to watch. In my research, I don't think this cycle applies to the entirety of the Gacha community. There are a portion of people who use Gacha as a medium to make stories, and make characters, and make fandom stuff. I am personally fine with that. I can see that they're having genuine fun and love for their efforts. But I was still curious as to why people make Gacha their whole entire social media personality. Isn't Gacha just a character creation app? These are kids who are fallen into the trap into constant content creation and feel like their strings bound to them. And the worst feeling is, they know they're the ones who tied the strings. It wasn't long until I found the main cause for all of their actions was the desire for popularity. People view popularity as the end goal, perhaps the ultimate peak of life, where you get admired and have peace in life. All your efforts getting acknowledged and finally getting the praise you want. By that time, you will theoretically have all of your skills you want to achieve. It is a permanent feeling of joy and accomplishment. However, when you reach your goal of getting popular, what then? You realize that you have to keep up with the flow of the world. You realize that you have to uphold your standard to set to the public. You realize that it gets boring. You realize that the feeling is only temporary. You feel like you have no way out. And the worst part is, you'll feel like nothing is ever enough, and that there's so much to learn, so much to improve, and so much to prove to others that you're still unique, still self-sufficient, and still outstanding. Most people who want to be popular stems from an attention starvation and have a strong sense of duty. That's the reality of most children who end up on Gacha. It is also a desire for attention, to be seen, to be recognized. It is truly a devilish desire. It continues to feed by the amount of videos by already popular Gachatubers on how to get popular and successful Gachatubing channel. It is like they're encouraging kids to go on too, and I've been so curious as to why anyone in the Gacha community hasn't made a video to possibly stop it. So I made this video out of the idea. There's this thing in the Gacha community to like, oh, follow your dreams. That's how I got to where I was now. But are they truly happy? Are your dreams holding your life back? Are your dreams attached to the tethers of your heart? Do you feel like you can't leave? Because it is all you've ever wanted to achieve, and it is all you've ever known. It is not a perfect picture as they try to paint it, unfortunately. Prodigies don't live the best life. They don't get to live yet. Plus, there's a whole entire social hierarchy in Gacha, which is like pretty weird, but I'll just put a picture of it here. If you want to join Gacha, you have to adapt to finding your own comfortable friend group to survive. Meaning, community is key, and also the people you surround yourself with is key too. I actually think the Gacha community is quite normal for an internet fandom full of teenagers and kids. It is just what happens when attention-crave people come together to fight for a face in a crowd, and the people just varying in how much they try to hide their desire for that. This also brings me to a point of the Gacha community making drama of their own because there's not enough engagement and happenings in the community. It is actually a pretty interesting phenomenon to see. They make use of the algorithm where more comments equals to more engagement. This also gives the opportunity for already popular Gachatubers to make earning them more engagement, attention, and revenue. And since popular Gachatubers are influencers, their young audience will become aware, and since kids tend to take things at face value, they also become angry and make the amount of emotional reactions and havoc even bigger. I'll say it's a natural result of internet culture. People are hyper-scrutinizing even the goodest of people when they trip. And even when they don't reply or give a sincere apology within a few days, and keep in mind not everyone is online, it will cause a scene. Meddling in drama for too long and hopes to fix it will actually make you miserable. Must suck hating something all the time, to be honest. I kind of feel bad. The internet is not really a safe place, no matter how you try to use safe proof or purify yourself if you're on it all the time. It's like digging in a tunnel that never ends. There are way too many videos exposing Gacha kids for tracing and stuff. To be honest, I don't think that stuff matters in the long run. That drama is incessant and a big stress better off left unknown in their little lives. Most of the time, tracing is done with no malicious intent, so sending death threats saying it's a disservice to the original artist who didn't want their stuff reposted to a small kid trying to have fun on Google Photos is a very online thing to do. I think this is where ignorance is allowed to be bliss. They're still young. There's more important things in the world that need your energy to be angry about. There's also a topic on Gacha Heat, but that's just Rule 34 of the internet. One may argue that it is a children's space at all, but my main conclusion is that it can be ignored. There's like a whole video on it if you want, so I'll just link it there. But they, for one, are choosing to bring attention to it just for the sake of engagement and a display of opinions, not really truly a debate, but it is also a thing about having a pressure to form a view, I guess. It is like they feel pressure to be involved just by being there. I see comments on a video basically illustrating the same ideas over and over again, just phrased differently. Maybe it's a cycle of, oh, maybe I should talk about it since I feel a need to get involved as this some way angers me and is my problem now. Or a cycle of looking at others' opinions to form oneself to make sure that it is as non-problematic as possible by the public. It may be to maintain a level of peace, or maybe it is to a point of conforming. There is a little bit of collectivistic society pressure that's going on here, but it's not really that evident. It is a wild thing, but I say it's natural as the internet. It's also a need to constantly get things right, to acknowledge that you don't know. It's not like you're born with societal expectations from the womb. They are expected to know how to react because of the abundance of information that is now available to the internet, and are expected to know everything now since they have access to it, and it is also like a sense of duty. Besides, you can all be forgiven since you're still young. You don't have enough life experience to kind of be able to form an informed opinion. So for now, just be comfortable saying that you don't know. You don't even have to give a reaction, and you're free to ignore. This is a bit hard to realize because of the education culture where you're expected to know how to structure your views on everything correctly. Or it can be a second situation where this child just came up with a revolutionary viewpoint of life that is subjectively the most correct, and they feel like I must influence everyone to think my amazing correct opinion and start and getting angry and posting their views everywhere. All of these points happening has an origin. I thought of this for a while and came to a conclusion that all of this is the product of the world right now and concluded on not blaming anyone. Also, a small point I want to add about hustle culture in kids in these gacha stuff. With the emphasis on stressing kids out in their childhood and meddling in the pressure of popularity and the stress that comes with expectations while they are still kids. So, my main advice for this one is please consider if it's worth it. Nothing truly matters in the end. It can be a pressure to want to make an impact on the world too. So, yeah. There is a part of the Gacha fandom that comes from 2017. They like to look down on newer people from the fandom for not knowing the OG songs or that they are not cultured and have a little FOMO thing going on. But I think that this is generally expands to much more than the Gacha fandom, of course. It's everywhere, from Gen Z versus boomers, blah blah blah. I just want to explain a little bit on how this phenomenon happens. The described past is usually rose-tinted, unfortunately. It stems from the dissatisfaction with the current state of their environment. For Gacha's case, the state that it is in right now. Finding out that their favorite creators are traitors and not innocent, and that it is running on rampant trends that change every so often, while in the past, they were much more freer and had much more variety. To an extent, this is true because the main motive of the people in the community has changed. It has become a place where consumers and acting neutral and mature take up more space in the main focus and goal, as is the world. It is just moving along the world's direction. I don't feel like putting the blame on anything either. Gachatubers back then were focused on having fun, liking cookies, and obsessed with head bobbing. So, yeah, they just want to escape. But having known their whole life revolving around a gacha fandom, despite being betrayed, it's kinda all they know. They do this and try not to move on, thus they look at the past with a rose tint. The true essence of youth to me, to be honest, is a community for children to figure out who they are. I think they're referring to the more welcoming past and now just hit bobbing is considered as not enough, and this expectation on needing to be more original takes a huge toll of the minds of children. This is the danger when there is an over-reliance on the internet. This is also the danger of progress, I'm afraid. Now on the animation memes that focus too much on looking good, the essence of having fun is hard to find. There has been an increase in the but different variation of making trends. Of course, the kids who make trends are aware that they are being the same. And when fitting in doesn't work for them, it does not get the attention they want. Example, all of these animations are literally copies. They try to push the boundaries of their minds to stand out in hopes for more compliments on their uniqueness and creativity. In some instances, even bringing others down might give them an ego boost. This is the exact engagement they want. With this point, I'd like to bring up another example by the same Gachatuber, and I also want to share it here. When they see something non-gacha, they'll praise like, oh, you know gacha and this too? Sasuga, goddess, that kind of thing. People in gacha, I realize, have very limited horizons. Where they see something remotely new idea, they kind of think it's a revelation. This kind of causes them to be stressed about creativity and originality when their mind can only stretch just so little. Like gacha has only a small boundary to explore in. Like it's all they know. Like, oh, your animation has to be so fluid, every hair clump needs to move in vectors, or oh, you have to know how to animate, or oh, your content is problematic because this small detail. So, advice, don't be afraid to use references. I know, sick, right? Don't be afraid to expand your horizons if you're infinitely curious to other animation memes and media than gacha. If anything, it'll also help yourself from limiting yourself for the sake of others. It helps with the creativity and ideas prospect. There's no denying the Gacha and TikTok compilation side of YouTube. They have a very big view count, like a wide audience, and are typically meant for little toddlers. I don't really want to meddle into that for now, since that's a whole giving internet to children young problem that I don't want to solve now. They are not a super big problem in this video's topic, and there's a video that tackles of this if you want to know more about it. I'll also link it. For the adults looking at this community, please just be reminded that these are just kids trying to figure out who they are. We should just let them be. It gets even out when they grow up, and besides, all anger is magnified on the internet anyways. These are just people trying to seek out a community and find satisfaction in their lives. By creating entertainment for others, creating cringe content, finding their limits, getting too emotionally attached to things that may not matter, wanting to act mature, wanting recognition for their hard work, getting insecure and projecting it, it's all a part of growing up. They're just finding something to do with their time. For now, they just want to learn to have fun. But the amount of self-sacrifice here is just a bit scary. I just wanted to use this video to point that out. Most people who are in Gacha are around 6 to 18-year-olds, very rarely 21 to 27, as most of them will probably have life in their way by then. This is because kids have a shit ton of time in their youth and actually have nothing better to do. They're trying to find something to do and try to make it a purpose in life, which is actually pretty unhealthy for an environment like the internet because the internet is very demanding. This is also a phase where kids like to act mature by getting into obscure stuff and sometimes sexual stuff sometimes, so please bear with them when interacting. There's no denying that using gacha is a way to get attention in the end. There's no denying the root of the topic. The creatives who have elaborate character designs and details that are better off just drawing it, but they choose to use gacha as a base to gain an audience for their artworks. They have an excuse to tag it as gacha because of that. For the group of them, gacha is just a way to let their work get recognized on the internet. It is a strategy. A pretty smart strategy even. I'm actually impressed at how they manipulate the internet and curry favor like this. The gacha community has already been popular since its conception in 2017. They make use of the already large audience and can enter the world with their artwork so that audience can rush in quick. For these people, they are just part of the normal animation meme community and are not really part of the gacha community, to be honest, because like their skills don't really align with that. So if you're don't be jealous of them because like they're in a totally different world, but they just want to like dip their toes into your fandom, so whatever. But if you're also just looking for an outlet to express your feelings, by all means use gacha freely. If you also just want to bring awareness of certain issues, you can also use gacha to convey it. You can make 16 plus content, but please be mindful that kids are quite ignorant of that warning, so they might, 1, misinterpret your message, and 2, cause havoc on your topic that you're trying to bring awareness to, which can bring quite a great toll of you if the topic is personal to you. If it's a topic that you want to bring awareness to, you can do it, of course. If it's just pure smut, then maybe not. Then, I'm not stopping you. Just look at the amount of gacha. But if your topic pertains to non-smutty 16 plus content, please be aware of this advice. Remember that gacha is just a medium. If you still choose to be a Gachatuber in the end, do not depend on making content for your main source of validation and self-worth. It will be very difficult and it will end up corrupting you. Are you drawing for the sake of drawing, or drawing because it makes you at ease or for fun? It is important to have a healthy balance. Take breaks and do not burn yourself out. That is all I can wish for. Is it a personal commitment, a hobby, a side hustle, or full-time commitment? Don't feel like you have to please anyone. This is, as I've said, for fun at its core. Nothing you make will actually matter to the world. Doesn't have the power to influence everyone, nor change the way the real world turns. The internet is just a place for people to do what they want. So my conclusion is to just do what you want with no real pressure. Please don't sell your soul to the devil, much less for nothing at the end of the day. I don't think it's really sustainable. Pick a theme, like what you're known for. Like, it's finding a major that you want to major in, but it is also fine to be a jack of all trades too. But to the others who find it comforting to stick to one aspect of content, finding a theme is one piece of advice for you. If you can't find one, it's also fine. It can be a bit dehumanizing for some, but just try to accept that popularity may not come as fast. Do you plan to make long or short form content? Do you want to be a content creator or do you want to be creative? None of them are incorrect, just which one you want to prioritize. Short form content prioritizes attention and constant engagement, while long form content, while it takes much longer and you may lose engagement in the process, will leave a bit more satisfaction in terms of commitment and purpose. it leaves you a bit more fulfilled when you finish your projects. If you're looking to improve your project commitment and creative skills, the second option may be best for you. If you're looking to monetize your content, the first option is better for you. If you're just trying to cope with life and wander around freely, or purely a hobbyist, this question is not really for you. I had to make this question because of that thing where I saw so many incomplete shigurei dance WIPs. I think new trend brings up a wide gap between people who primarily make short form and long form content, and how long their attention span and commitment will last until they kind of break. They still post the WIPs anyway to show, hey, I'm still alive, please acknowledge. Please say that you're proud of me and because I did this. Acknowledge my hard work, although incomplete. Take your food. If short form content, do note that getting into creative and animation industries in the future is not really possible if you're looking to pursue that endeavor. Even though you're animating, it's not really like a valid thing to put on your portfolio. Plus, your commitment levels won't be high enough to finish a short film. In defense, yes, gacha twinning can help people have a general idea of rigging 2D models. It can help bring a beginning of the interest in the arts. However, you can't really rely on gacha fully as an artistic medium sustainably, as professors are not really likely to be open to that. And it's a small danger where editing is the only thing I know. If you're doing long form content, please remember to do storyboards. Yeah, you don't have to do it like all at once. You can actually like delve into the animation aspect instead of the gacha aspect of it. Short form content kind of begs to ensure that your life must be stable, so please be mindful of that. You have to be quite skilled in knowing how to prioritize. Like your personal problems you face as a teenager, your personal life and your family, you have to know how to leave most of that offline. Yeah, hard as a kid, right? There's also school and exams in your way if you're still in school, and responsibilities, so being a content creator while schooling is definitely tricky. This is where the leverage of the want for approval comes in. Managing them depends on which one matters to you more. Try to think about it for a little, like if attention is more important to you or your academics is more important to you. Don't be afraid to find more efficient options. I feel a bit weird for even having to give this advice, but if you already have a computer and a free animation software that could make your workload reduce by 50%, why would you stick with laboring your ass off in CuteCut? There is much better options for out there, and it's for you. Please use them. Even if it is viewed by impressive and dedication viewed by others, don't put that unnecessary stress upon yourself, especially if you're monetizing your content. I've seen many compliments on Gacha perspective. It is like the pinnacle of Gacha content, so I'll just provide a little cheat code here. You will have to spend time mediating your young audience. As I've said before, portrait and remember if it's worth it. You have a community to relate to and rely on, and your hard work will take quite long to pay off. I've also seen a portion of people going to the realm of Gacha wanting to develop a full-on anime series. I mean, sure, but keep this in mind. Are you being too ambitious? Despite that, the world does not fall on your shoulders. The world will not end. It is okay to run away if you truly find that the fight is not worth fighting. It is okay to pick your fights, and it is okay to move on. If you're aware, please move forward. Please have fun. That is what it is all about at its core. Please take breaks, and it is okay to have a personal life away from the internet. In fact, strongly encouraged. Broaden your horizons to improve your craft. You have time. Do not rush. It is hard to realize in this world where the internet and society is constantly changing and rushing, but I need you to know that you have time. Success is subjective, and if success is not for you, it is okay to go. Your mind may not be on gacha every day, and it is okay. Do not beat yourself up about it. Allow space for your other interests and allow space for life. Take care of yourself. No one knows you better than you do. If you live in fortunate enough circumstances, don't purposely try to make it hard for yourself. Life is already fleeting enough. We are not meant to be overloaded. I really want to end this off on a good note. I've said too much depressing stuff, so watch Mob Psycho. Consider if expectations are worth it. On a positive note, I am very glad there's a news reporter like flotalendy in the Gacha community in 2022 and 2023, by the way. So that all sides are clear and the drama is not as bad as before, and by clarifying any misunderstandings. I'm glad there's a singular platform that one can refer to. On a good note, I'm also glad to see so many compliments under posts. This is a wonderful part of the Gacha fandom. Keep doing it, guys. But just don't overdo it. For example, bringing yourself down to compliment them. It comes across the wrong way and is self-deprecating instead, which can bring harm, really. And since I'm on this point, I'm gonna remind people to compliment on their hard work and patience instead of talent. Oh god, this is one heck of a forbidden word in the creative community. And besides, you can just say, I like your video, and that's it. Please feel like your compliment is enough. It is always more than enough for the creator. You don't have to say that the work transcends all the billions of universes just to convey your compliment, please. Even a thumbs up means a lot to the creator. It is a sign of positive interaction. But like, this is more of a global thing. I just felt like adding it here. Remember basic internet safety. Do not reveal your age online. There is a trend where they're encouraging kids to do so, so it is important to acknowledge this. This might be a show off of, oh, I'm so young, I can do this impressive stuff already, I can work hard. Acknowledge this side of me, which is my age too. It is a public show of approval. They are most likely already aware of the danger of putting their age online, but they think predators will not prey on mere insignificant civilians like them. This begs an underlying problem. Are kids just that desperate for approval that they reveal impersonal information to impress? Okay, so a solution. Under 18, label yourself as a minor, non-specific but concise. Over 18, you are free to reveal your age. That's it. Making OCs. It is okay not to have to develop a backstory for your character, to be honest. There is nothing really forcing you to, no external force. But for those who want to, here's a little blog post I found that may help. There's a billion trillion stories out there, so might as well just tell the one you want to tell how you want to tell it. Another interesting observation is that people are replicating styles. I don't know what the true motive of this is. Maybe it's just to find their own identity and ultimately for attention. Or it's to keep their hands wiggling. Yes, this is the thing. This concept of doing lesser work or doing nothing at all baffles them. I know, art styles aren't official, and this doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things at all. I just find it so curious as to why this is happening. I'm gonna add one more point since I suffer from this stuff. I come up with more ideas than my brain can physically handle animating and bringing them into real life. Just gave up on them. But to people, it's gonna feel like a sense of responsibility. Like, no one's gonna carry out this very specific idea in my head if I don't do it. I feel like that can be a source of pressure for motivation too. I'm always coming up with ideas for this topic as my memories and inner thoughts arise, but I'm gonna put an end to them because, this video can't always keep going. So please add any more discussions in the comments and I'll acknowledge them too.